Welcome to BigCountryPreps.com. I'm Evan Wren, and this is the Countdown to Two-A-Days series, our daily look at an area football team and the key questions that we're going to be answering about that team in our August 16th preseason preview here at Big Country Preps with my partner, Dan Youngblood, via Zoom. And tonight, Dan, it is the Santo Wildcats that we'll be taking a quick look at.
Yeah, and this has been a program that has really made a resurgence under Devin Mann the last couple of years, especially. Really had a couple of very strong seasons, and now it's going to be potentially a rebuild or reload situation. They return only 10 of their 24 lettermen, only 3 offensive and 4 defensive starters are back from last year's 10-2 squad. So this is going to be one of those. We talk about the questions we're going to be answering. This is going to be one with a lot of questions, and we'll get into some of those here in just a little bit.
All right, before we jump into tonight's countdown edition, we're going to remind you YouTubers to please hit that subscribe button. Please hit the subscribe button and then hit that little bell to get notifications every time we come up with a new podcast here at Big Country Preps. And this will be a good way for you to follow along with our Countdown to Two-A-Days series, which will go all the way up to the outset of Two-A-Days. We'll be looking at one team a day all the way up to Two-A-Days, counting it down throughout the summer. So please hit subscribe, please hit the bell, and stay up with us.
And with that, let's go ahead and jump in, talk about today's team, Santo. Like I said, this is a program that Devin Mann, just on the outset, Devin Mann's done a great job. This has been a very good program. It's found a really strong identity in its flexbone offense, very physical defensively. But a lot of the kids that were responsible for the last for the success they enjoyed the last couple of years have graduated, and now it kind of leads us to the first question. We're going to find out this year: is this a rebuild or a reload situation? That's kind of what you talk about programs in particular. It's kind of, is this a rebuild program or a reload program? I was really impressed with the way 3 years ago that Santo kind of had one of these rebuild situations and managed to go through it while still making the playoffs and still being very competitive. I'm going to be interested to see, is this going to be another one of those situations? Or are they going to have to rebuild and kind of go through a tough season, or are they going to be able to fill in with their JV kids and keep the train rolling? Because like I said, this program has built some really quality momentum over the last several years.
I see the biggest question with Santo and whether it's going to be able to keep the momentum going and be a playoff team again. I see the biggest question for this team is going to be Hut Thornton, the quarterback, a quality option quarterback running that flexbone offense. If he's back and stays healthy, the key question is, will he be enough to guide with his knowledge and ability running that flexbone to guide that young team back into the playoffs? And we're not going to answer that question here. We're going to answer it in our preview. But that is, to me, that's the biggest question. Will he be enough to guide that young team back where they want to go?
Yeah, and we did our feature last year on Hut, who is the son of offensive coordinator Randy Thornton. So that kid has grown up in the flexbone. So I think you brought up a big thing. If he can stay healthy, he's going to be a very interesting one to watch. Yes. One other big question, I think this has been a key to their success in recent years, and is often the case with the flexbone offense, is line play. This is a team that has graduated most of its strength up front, and that's going to be a big part of answering question one. Is if they're going to be able to reload, they're going to have to find some kids that can block for Thornton and for those mini backs and kind of create those holes and allow them to get going and control the clock. But we've seen this flexbone offense, when it's working, it is a very, very difficult offense to get off the field, can be a very frustrating offense to defend. To me, the big question is, can they get that push up front to get those 2.5, 3.5 yards every play to keep every possession going? And if they can, it'll probably be another kind of vintage Santo season.
All right. With that, we're going to take a quick look at Santo's 2023 schedule, starting the non-district portion. Electra at home starts things off on August 25th, at Goldthwaite on September 1st, at home against Hamilton on September 8th, and then at Rio Vista on September the 15th. There's some challenges there, but there's some games that certainly there's no unwinnable games in there. It's an opportunity for Santo to get some momentum with a young team going into a district play.
And Santo's another one of those in a 7-team district, so they're going to start district after week 5. They've got their open date on September 22nd, and they've got a really tough game right off the bat to start district, September 29th at Munster. Then they come home the following week to play Chico, go to Lindsay on October 13th, host Collinsville, another team that was very strong last year, October 20th, go to Celeste on October 27th, and then finish up with a home game against Era. This was a very, very competitive district last year, and I think it's going to be a quality district in this year. Santo I think where they stand in that district is really going to come down to how they answer those questions we just talked about. This is a team that if they can kind of weather the storm and reload, I think they'll be very competitive. If it's more of a rebuild situation, this is a tough district to do that in. So it's going to be interesting, particularly when you look at having to start league play right off the bat with that Munster squad.
All right, with that, it's about time to wrap up tonight's edition of the Countdown to Two-A-Days series, the Santo Wildcats. But before we do that, we want to remind you again that on August 16th, Big Country Press will be releasing its annual preseason football preview here on the website. Now, don't miss that. It's going to have more than 40 team previews, more than 40 player features. We're going to have stats from last year. We're going to have videos. We're going to have opinion pieces, predictions, and frankly, the most accurate predictions for our area that you're going to find. This is our turf. This is our area. We take a lot of pride in it. Don't forget to join us.
In the meantime, thank you for joining us for this episode of our Countdown to Two-A-Days series. And make sure you come back tomorrow when we will be featuring the Heiko Tigers here at BigCountryPreps.com.